I got to sit down with Jacob
Our boy.
Kemp from the Hattiesburg American. Jacob is my boy, dude. We go way back.
Jacob, turn up. Even though just recently met Jacob, man's
He's a good cat. I said, he just got hired full time with the Hattiesburg American.
Turn up,
because we used to be freelancers, and then he wanted to usurp me and become full time. I guess
that's a nice verb there, Julius.
I guess I just have this show with you. I mean, because I guess we're not important, so we won't get job offers like that in the middle of the school year.
Low key.
But I guess he's somebody important. But anyways, we have a sit down session with Jacob Kemp from the Hattiesburg American. So Jacob Kemp from the Hattiesburg American, what games are you looking out for this week?
Definitely Forest County and Purvis. Big game in 4A. It's pretty much two Lamar County teams, two Hattiesburg area teams going head to head. Forest County has not lost to Purvis since 1998.
That's a long time.
And that's a long time. But Purvis gets the game at home. They're 4-0 in district. They're on a 4-game win streak. On the flip side, Forest County's on a 3-game win streak. But I think Purvis is probably one of the stronger teams in 4A, coming off a tough non-region schedule. But them at home, well coached by Perry Wheat, legend.
So Jacob, I recently went to Oak Grove High School. That's a high school I haven't seen that big since I came back from Houston. What is it about Oak Grove that really stands out? And even they have their crosstown Hattiesburg rival. What does Oak Grove have to prove this season? They're right now on a hot streak right now. So what are you looking for when you see Oak Grove?
There's a couple things I'm looking for when I look at Oak Grove. Mainly just the tradition that Oak Grove has, and that started with Neville Barr. Oak Grove used to be a 2A school. But Neville Barr he built that program from the ground up. He left this year, but he left it in very capable hands. Drew calls it. He's a great coach. He's an offensive-minded coach, and you can tell that the way they're putting points on folks. They dropped the game last week to Brandon, 28-16, but Brandon's also the number 4 team in 6A and the number 3 team overall in the AP poll. So that's not really to put Oak Grove down. That was a tough game that they lost.
Of course.
But they're still going to be in the playoffs. They're still going to make noise. They have the facilities. They have the athletes. They got everything working for them right now.
Now, what is your game of the week so far this week? Obviously, you have Oak Grove going up against Pearl. What is the game you're looking for this week?
Definitely Forest County and Purvis. But now there's also a more interesting matchup with West Marion and Tylertown. West Marion earlier in the year lost to Collins. Collins 3A power.
Collins is a pretty good team, though.
Collins is a great team. They're a former state champion. They're the defending state champ, 3A state champ. West Marion had them in the fourth quarter, had a lead on them, but they dropped the game to Collins. Tylertown was right there with Collins, and now Collins is pretty much has the region sewn up. But West Marion and Tylertown are fighting for that number 2 seed now. And that's going to be one great game right there because West Marion's going to Tylertown. It's a good drive for West Marion and Coach Brad Duncan. But the Trojans, they're led by Josh Miller and Caleb Beatty. I think they're going to be able to pull it out, but that's definitely going to be a high-scoring game.
Now, this late in the season, you obviously have high school teams that just aren't on the right side of things. They always just seem to find a way to lose. You have your Sacred Hearts, you have your Purvises, you have your Summeralls. Those teams just pretty much aren't really fighting for a playoff spot. They're just fighting for respect right now. So what team do you feel like has the guys that probably could have made a playoff push, but now it's just too late? But what teams are out there that are still interesting even though they're out of the playoff picture?
I think there's two teams that come to mind. First, public school Richton. Natorian Watts and Natorian Watts. They're both twins. One's a quarterback. He got injured mid-season and he hasn't been able to play for him. But he's definitely a great player. In Richmond, they're still putting up a lot of points despite losing him. And Torian Watts, a wide receiver, he's great too. On the flip side, in the academy leagues, PCS, man, they are a great team, but they've had a tough road playing Jackson Prep, Jackson Academy, Oak Forest. They've played some tough teams, and they got Isaiah Willard, who's top 5 in the state in rushing, not only in academy but just in the state as a whole, academy and public school. He's a great player, and he's just a junior. He's got almost 2,500 yards rushing. I think he's close to 20 rushing touchdowns. He's an amazing player, and they play their last game this Friday, but I think they're one of the teams that really missed out, and they could have made some noise in the playoffs for sure.
What game are you going to that you're anticipating, or what game are you going to that obviously you're looking out for? Maybe an athlete that's going to jump out off the page, or maybe an offense that could put up big points? What game are you really looking out for besides the game you talked about recently?
Yeah, I'm going to Forest County and Purvis, but I think there's a player that's really not being talked about that really needs to be in his own Earl Grove's team. I know that there is the possibility that most teams are going to focus on Jordan Duncan, and rightfully so. He's a Danny Dozen. He's been selected for the Mississippi Owl game, but on the other side of him, there's Charles Hartford, and the kid is unbelievable, and I think he is going to be an outstanding recruit, and I think he's going to be an outstanding college football player. I think he's going to light it up going forward into the playoffs, into their last 2 regular season games. I think the kid is unbelievable.
Jacob Kemp, Hattiesburg American, thank you for your time.
Thanks, man.
My boy Jacob.
Turn up.
My boy Jacob. All right, so a couple of takeaways from what he said. Forest County at Purvis. Obviously, Forest County sitting at 4-5. Purvis is at 5-4. But Forest County Purvis has not lost to Forest County since 1998.
That is crazy.
What was I, 3 years old?
I was 4.
I
was 4 years old.
I don't think I did that well in math 1-on-1, so I think that's is it 17 years? That's a long time. I don't think the streak is going to be broken. But we'll save our predictions for later.
We will.
But the only thing I take away from that is Purvis is so inconsistent in the way that they score. But obviously, it's the last game of the season for both those teams. They're both pushing for a playoff push. Not even. They're both. Forest County sits at 4-5. Purvis sits at 5-4. So I look at this game. It may just break even, honestly. But hey, we'll move past it. West Marion versus Tylertown. West Marion sits at 9-1. They've scored at least 30 points in almost every single game this season. Tylertown sits at 7-2, and they actually have a low-scoring team. So that's a prediction. I'll give it to you a little later.
Okay.
Wide receiver Natorian Watts, like you said, the Watts brothers. Natorian Watts actually is 6'2", 175, runs a 4.57 40. Only a sophomore.
Freak.
Only a sophomore. And Natorian Watts is 6 foot, 178, runs a sub 4.6 40. But he played Natorian plays quarterback. Natorian plays wide receiver for Richton, and I feel like with those 2 guys, Richton could actually have a shot at making some noise. But I mean, it's the end of the season, and you never want to put too much stock in 2 guys. And that's all I would say from Jacob. Jacob is a great guy. Jacob always has great insight on this high school stuff. That's why they hired him at the Hattiesburg American. They didn't want to hire me. I mean, so
shout out to Jacob, man. Real intuitive guy when it comes to this high school sports. He knows what he's talking about.